All right, so we're going to do a second video here on graphing. The first one that we did was just the line graph. I separated those out because the line graph is going to be the most important one that we work with in here. All right, but I do want to talk a little bit about the other two that we're going to run into briefly. All right, the second one is called the pie chart. Pie charts are useful when showing the relationship between the part and the whole. What do I mean by that? Well, if you think about a whole circle, when you make a pie chart, each slice of the pie represents part of the whole pie. Right? So I'll do a little example here. It says construct a pie chart that represents how you spend your time during a typical weekday. Use the following checklist. Obviously, everybody's different. Everybody does different things. Everybody spends different amounts of time on different things, but this is just an example. All right. So let's say out of a 24-hour day, just for the sake of argument, that you spend 6 hours sleeping, 6 hours in class that day, 5 watching TV, 3 playing video games or whatever, 3 hours eating, you were hungry that day, and that left 1 hour for whatever else you wanted to fit in there, like maybe like a shower or something like that. All right. So you want to provide a title for the pie chart. I don't have that on here right now, but you would put something like number of hours spent in activities or something like that. Okay. Know what the whole pie is worth. Well, we're talking about a 24-hour day, so the entire pie is worth 24 hours. Now we're going to cut up the pie so that each slice represents the hours that we're dealing with here. All right. So sleeping is 6 hours. If there's 24 hours in the whole circle, half a circle would be 12 hours. So a quarter of a circle, there's our starting point. A quarter of a circle would be 6 hours. So there's our first chunk, our first pie. In class, that's another quarter. That's 6 hours. That's another quarter. So there's half your day right there, sleeping or in class. Watching TV, you spend 5 hours. So that's almost a quarter of the other half, or excuse me, half of the other half. Okay, so that's about 5. Right. You play video games or whatever, that's another 3. You figured out you spent about 3 hours eating that day, and then the other hour that's left off, that teeny tiny little slice at the top, that's your other thing: showering, brushing your teeth, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and then you would just label each part with what its value is and what it represents. All right. All right. The last one I want to talk to you about is the histogram. All right. We call them a bar graph, but really the vertical lines are really called a histogram. If it's a bar graph, it's really a horizontal line, but it doesn't matter. We kind of use them interchangeably. All right, but let's say we have a bunch of data. Let's say we've got a bag of paper clips, and we're going to figure out how many of each color are in that bag of paper clips that we bought. So let's say we dumped it out and we started counting them out. And you can see the numbers that we counted up. All right. Just out of curiosity, there's a couple different things we could do with this. We could just simply create a graph showing the number, which we're going to do in a minute, or you could create a graph showing the percentage. All right. So if you figure there's 22 red, 17 orange, 16 yellow, 25 green, 24 blue, 20 purple, 37 black, 39 white, you add those up, that's 200 paper clips. All right. So if we say 22 are red, 22 out of 200 would be 11%. 17 out of 200 would be 8.5%, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you add up all those percentages on the right, that's 100%, because that's the whole bag. The whole bag represents 100%. Okay? So let's just do a quick histogram showing that. All right? So we've got a little graph paper here. All right? We're going to do a title here: colors of paper clips in a bag, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, just so we know what we're talking about. All right. I'm going to put my color on the bottom. Then I'm going to do number of paper clips. And again, I could have done percentage up the side if I wanted to, but I just decided to do straight numbers, right? So my highest number was 39 white. So that means my scale on the left here has to go at least to 39. So what I did was I made every line here 5, so every other line would be 10. You don't have to label every line. It makes it a little neater if you don't do that. You can if you want, but it's a little neater if you don't label every one. But if every line is 5, every other line would be 10. So every other 10, 20, 30, 40, that works. That fits my entire scale. You have to make sure that you fit the entire scale on the graph paper you're working with. You can't go off the graph paper and just kind of cheat off the top a little bit. All right. So our red, we had 22. So we're going to draw our bar graph to the height of 22. And then we're going to continue on through all our colors. 17 orange, 16 yellow, 25 green, 22 blue, 20 purple, 37 black, and 37 white. So there's the other two. So again, we've got our line graph, we've got our pie chart, and we've got our histogram. All right, those are the three that we're going to be working with, but by far we'll mostly be working with the line graph.